Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on PYP Boxing. This is a special show. We have Blair, the Flair Cobb, who is 17-1, 102 rounds professionally. He is the former NABF welterweight champion. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm doing a good job. Feeling good, baby.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, listen, we got a couple of questions for you. Thank you for doing this. And thank you to Elliot over at Nova Sports for setting this up. And let's just jump right into it. Let's get to know you. Let's go back to June 28th, 2013, your very first fight, your debut against Holland. What was going through your mind at that point as your first fight's coming up? Was there jitters? What was your mindset?
Oh man. Well, okay.
Let's pull you back.
as an amateur, I was very fast, very strong. I was a very dangerous fighter. They had to set me back a few years because as a young child, I was ridiculously unrealistic. I was Roy Jones fast. That's freak. I'm a freak of nature. So I get into the fight and we finally got something. Somebody agreed to fight me. Obviously I had to pay for it or whatever. And I remember it only lasted for like 27 seconds or something like that. So they say dang, and I'm like, oh man, I'm in a real boxing match. This is crazy, like no headgear, nothing. I got these little tiny gloves on. Oh snap, he's coming. And I blocked or whatever. It was and then the referee broke us up. Boom! No, and it was out the door. He was asleep. He was sleeping because I had this knacking ability to do these leaping left straights like Manny Pacquiao. So I leaped over there, knocked him out with the one shot him, and then that was it.
Well, 11 fights go by, you slaughter about seven other dudes about the same way, and then you come up to what I think is your biggest and best win ever, the NABF championship against Ferdinand. That must have been your biggest fight, obviously, going forward, bringing you to where you are now. What's going through your head?
Well, honestly, when that fight happened, it was almost like a movie. Um, I agreed to the fight after they suggested that I fight him at 54 when I'm 140. Just ridiculous nonsense. I'm like, okay, so they just really want him to beat me. I'm like, okay, well, how about this? We do something that makes sense. I'll fight at 147. I'm moving up from 147 straight off of like a hand surgery. My first fight back, and I was literally only months away from my surgery that I had. And in the whole build up, I had like 2 weeks before the fight, my trainers, I had to fire my trainers or they had to quit regardless. you know so I had just picked any random person in the gym at the time and said, we're gonna go win this fight. I'm going to win this fight. Nobody believed in me. So I'm getting wrapped up in the dressing room. I'm there. Now the guy that's training me, he's a bit of an addict. So he kind of disappears here and there.
Oh, man.
So I'm just in the dressing room alone, and the host of the fights peeked his head through the curtain of the dressing room, and he said, "Hey, you're Blair Flair." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Blair Flair." I took down my headphones. He said, "Okay, well, do you do the woo?" I said, "Yeah, I could do that." And that's how it happened. After that, we get into the whole shindig of the fights. Um, and I'm in remarkable shape. I'm fast, and I'm able to out maneuver and put damage on my opponent. That guy was really, really tough. Let's just put it like this: if it wasn't for me, he probably would be a champion right now. You know,
Mhm.
that's that was a big deal. You know, it was a big deal. So, you know, after winning that fight, you know, I did the woo, and I was a big sensation, literally, like fight after fight for that 2019. I just killed it, you know, until I was just too big for Golden Boy,
Yeah.
you know. So
Well, yeah, obviously your name started growing and you obviously became a big star in the sport. And you going along, you had that big night after the Broner, huge night, your pay-per-view main event. But then we lost you for 12 months, man. What happened? Was it an injury? Was it business? A lot of people want to know what happened. It's a year from that now. Where were you? What's the deal? Was there an injury? Was it business? Let us know.
well, it's the business of boxing with Don King, and they dropping the ball and me holding on thinking that they were going to do something when I probably should have just got out of there immediately. But obviously, over like there's a lot of logistics with that. In order to get out of like a Don King contract, you gotta file bankruptcy and all kinds of crazy shit. It's just a lot of nonsense that I had to go through to just be free of Don King. And like, you know, it's like, okay, I get that you wanted Adrian Broner to win, but you got a better fighter out of the midst of that. I excelled inside and outside the ring, beginning, middle, and all the way. And he's too old to actually promote, so it just was a bad setup. You know, it was a great fight that probably still has a little bit of buzz. You know what I mean? He ended up getting a tooth knocked out, knocked down. I'm the second person to ever knock down Adrian Broner. Manny Pacquiao couldn't even do that. You know, after hitting him so many times, I realized he has a chin like I've never seen before. You know, the same shot that I knocked him down, I hit him 8 more times throughout the fight. You know, I tested that shit like every bow. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here now. Like, I can't take that shit. You know, and so you know, it was a very interesting fight. You know, one thing I know that like I'm always going to be good at is going through the fire of like a big fight and coming out on top. You know, going through the ups and downs of a career, whereas though like oh man, before the Adrian Broner fight, I was 2 years laid off because I beat Hooker. But I didn't just beat him, I dominated him and scared everybody away from the idea of me fighting Virgil Ortiz. So, oh yeah, we can't fight you with Virgil Ortiz. I'm like, okay, then like, what are we gonna do? Yeah, you're just gonna sit. I'm not gonna release you. We gotta waste your time. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know,
That was with Golden Boy.
yeah, well, Golden Boy, it's like everybody wants to protect somebody, you know.
Yeah.
When it came to Eddie Hearns, I like, hey, I'm showing up all the time, creating all kinds of buzz about this Jerron Ennis and Blair Flair fight, this Boots and Flair fight, and it's a lot of buzz. And then not to mention, technically, I got a better record than him. Like I got a better like resume. I got two actual world champions, ex-world champions on my in my resume. Not to mention the actual name. He haven't fought a name yet. If he had fought me, that would be the only name he fought. So it's a very interesting situation that we're in, you know, where boxing is really like what you're seeing is the modern day Muhammad Ali going through the modern day bullshit. You know, it
Yeah.
was different. It's different back in the day. You know, he could talk a fight up, and next thing you know, his Sonny Liston's ready to knock his head off. All he did was get the NABF belt, the same belt I got. You know, so things is just a little different nowadays.